Hello everyone, welcome to Full Moon Movies. There are certain films that stay with you long after the credits roll, not because of spectacular action sequences or groundbreaking visual effects, but because they speak directly to something deeply human. Good Will Hunting is one of those films. More than 25 years after its release, it remains one of the most heartfelt and emotionally resonant films ever made. Directed by Gus Van Sant and written by Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, the film tells the story of Will Hunting, a young janitor working at MIT who possesses extraordinary mathematical genius. However, despite his remarkable intelligence, Will struggles with emotional wounds, unresolved trauma, and a deep fear of failure. Now, what makes Good Will Hunting special is that it is not really a movie about intelligence. In fact, it is a movie about potential. More importantly, it is about the barriers we build around ourselves that prevents us from realizing that potential. Matt Damon delivers what is arguably the defining performance of his early career. As Will, he perfectly balances brilliance with vulnerability. One moment he is effortlessly solving complex mathematical equations and intellectually dismantling university students. The next, he is a frightened young man hiding behind sarcasm and anger. The film could have easily become a story about a genius proving how smart he is. Instead, it asks a more difficult question. What good is intelligence if you are emotionally unable to move forward with your life? This is where the character of Sean Maguire, played by Robin Williams, becomes the heart of the movie. Robin Williams gives one of the finest performances of his career. Known primarily for his comedic roles, Williams brings a quiet wisdom and emotional depth that feels completely authentic. Sean is not a therapist who magically fixes Will. Instead, he becomes someone who understands pain because he has experienced it himself. The famous bench scene remains one of the greatest moments in modern cinema. Sean tells Will that despite all his intelligence and book knowledge, he lacks genuine life experience. He can read about art, war, and love, but he cannot truly understand them because he has never lived them. The scene works because it challenges not only Will but also the audience. Throughout the movie, Sean slowly breaks down the emotional walls of Will which has built around himself. Their session feels less like a therapy and more like two wounded individuals helping each other heal. Perhaps the most memorable scene in the entire film is the repeated phrase, "It's not your fault." Now, what makes this moment powerful is not the dialogue itself, but everything that comes before it. The film carefully builds Will's emotional defenses, showing how trauma has shaped his identity. When those defenses finally collapse, the emotional release feels earned. The supporting cast is equally strong. Ben Affleck's portrayal of Chuckie may initially seem simple, but he delivers one of the film's most important messages. Chuckie understands that Will has opportunities that others do not. His famous speech about hoping Will leaves the neighborhood is one of the most selfless expressions of friendship ever put on screen. Rather than being jealous of Will's talent, Chuckie wants his friend to achieve what he himself never can. It is a beautiful example of friendship built on genuine care rather than competition. Minnie Driver also shines as Skylar. Her relationship with Will provides another perspective on his emotional struggles. She sees the potential in him but becomes frustrated by his inability to become vulnerable and honest. One reason the film continues to resonate is that its themes are really universal. Most people are not mathematically geniuses. However, many people understand self-doubt, fear of failure, and the tendency to remain in familiar situations even when greater opportunities exist. Will's greater obstacle is not his intelligence, it's his fear. He fears leaving behind the only life he has ever known. He fears being vulnerable. Most importantly, he fears discovering whether he is truly capable of becoming something more. The screenplay deserves enormous praise. Damon and Affleck created characters who feel real rather than symbolic. The dialogue is intelligent without being pretentious and emotional without becoming sentimental. The film also benefits from its simplicity. There are no elaborate plots, twists, or dramatic action sequences. The story is driven entirely by character relationships and emotional growth. Now, that simplicity allows the performances to take center stage. Upon its release, Good Will Hunting becomes both a critical and commercial success. Made for approximately 10 million, it earned over 225 million worldwide. It was nominated for 9 Academy Awards and won 2, including Best Supporting Actor for Robin Williams, which I think was really very long due, and the Best Original Screenplay for Damon and Affleck. The success of the film launched Matt Damon and Ben Affleck into Hollywood stardom almost overnight. Yet what is remarkable is how well the movie has aged. Many films become dated because they are tied too closely to a specific period. But Good Will Hunting remains relevant because its core themes are timeless. Questions about purpose, identity, friendship, love, and self-worth are just as meaningful today as they were in 1997. In an era where many films rely on spectacle, Good Will Hunting reminds us of the powerful of great writing and exceptional performances. The movie trusts its audience. It understands that the most compelling stories are often not about saving the world, but about saving oneself. Looking back today, it is easy to see why the film continues to be celebrated. It is funny, intelligent, emotionally moving, and deeply human. Most importantly, it reminds us that intelligence alone is not enough. Growth requires courage, success requires vulnerability, and sometimes the hardest thing a person can do is believe they deserve a better future. Now, that message is why Good Will Hunting remains one of the finest dramas ever made. Now, this movie is a must watch.